welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thank you for tuning in. Now, today we're talking about a new rule that the NBA is officially implementing regarding fouls. We're also talking about Dame Lillard and how there seems to be a lot more truth to those trade request rumors. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JRayTheFanatic.
So, Jackie, I've been dying to know, how did those non-taco tacos turn out yesterday?
It was really good. It was just like a little, buffet thing. I mean, some people made tacos, some people made like salads and stuff like that. So it was really good. Somebody commented on our video yesterday, said, "Stop scratching your eye. It's already swollen." They were absolutely right. By the end of the night, my eye was super swollen. But I took some Benadryl, so I don't know if I had an allergic reaction to something, but I took some Benadryl, and it's only slightly swollen right now, but it's not itching and watering.
That's good. That's the best when it stops watering after it's been watering for a long time. I know that feeling. I feel like that happens to me all the time. If it's any consolation, your eyes look great to me. It doesn't look swollen, so that's awesome. You're recovered.
Right.
All right. Well, I didn't get tacos yesterday, but I did get my favorite Thai food in San Diego. You guys might have noticed my background looks different. I'm in my sister's old bedroom, and I got Thai food. I've been hanging out with my dogs. It's been really good. And then as a reminder, we have Kevin Pryor coming in tomorrow to fill in for me while I'm out taking an exam. So yeah, make sure you give Kevin a warm welcome. We love him here at the Fumble, and he has great insights, and we're always so grateful when he's able to pop on to the live show. For now, let's get into the news. Let's talk about this new rule that the NBA is implementing. I'm very curious how you're going to feel about it, Jackie. We did discuss this when it was kind of just an idea that was being considered, and it was, what's the word I'm trying to think of? It was an idea that they were going to present to the Board of Governors regarding fouls. And you and I have both talked about it, and I think we agree that fouling in the way that we've seen it over the last, few years, it's been a long time that people have been doing this. It's kind of part of the theatrics of basketball. It's kind of funny to see Joel Embiid flop backwards, or to see James Harden like flailing in the air, whatever it is. It's kind of funny, and it definitely ups the ante of games. But the NBA is getting really tired of it, and so they're attempting to eliminate some of the more ridiculous foul calls that we've seen. So according to The Athletic, the NBA has decided to move forward with new rules to reduce the use of non-basketball moves to draw fouls. So officials will reportedly be trained to identify and penalize some of the following non-basketball moves. So here they are: launching into a defender, abruptly veering off path, kicking their leg out at an abnormal angle, hooking defenders with an off arm. So these are just 4 or 5 of the different things that NBA officials are apparently going to be trained to notice. Honestly, bad idea all around, because we already know that NBA officials make terrible calls anyway, so training them to identify mid-game these specific moves, to me, seems like it's never going to work out as they hope. If an offensive player is deemed to have made more than marginal contact, the play will be called an offensive foul, but less than marginal contact will remain a no call. So like I said, we previously talked about this potential new rule last month, and it's unclear right now whether the Board of Governors has actually voted the change into the rule book, but it does seem that they are on the path to start making that happen. Now, there are fans who probably will be grateful to see this go down, the ones who just can't enjoy a good old flop. And, they're the ones who are going to be rejoicing this moment here. But, I don't know. I don't know that this is necessarily a good idea. I feel like we should kind of let the players do what they do. It's part of the game now. It makes it fun to watch. I don't know. Do you feel like this is going to be a detriment to the game, Jackie?
I don't think it's going to make a bit of difference at all. Some of the things on that list should already be a foul. And the fact that you're having to train the refs on this means they weren't trained properly in the first place. So now you're just going to throw a whole bunch of new stuff at them and say, hey, the stuff that you failed miserably at, we're going to add some more stuff to that. It's just kind of one of those things where I just don't think that this makes an ounce of sense. There's some things that I think that they do need to be trained on, and that is when a call is just over the top, take that time. But see, the thing is they've taken time to go review fouls and still get them wrong. So, before we add stuff to their plate, let's make sure they're getting the calls right that they are supposed to make. This is the thing that bothers me about this. You're saying that you don't like flops. Flops have been happening since basketball started. Nobody's going to stop flopping. That's not going to be a thing. And because sometimes they get contact and then they just over dramatize it. That's what's really happening. So it's just one of those things where I just don't think that they really thought this out. I think what they really heard was the public outcry of people getting tired of games being decided by refs. And that's something that we've seen. We've seen refs are just getting too involved in the game. I don't think adding new rules is going to prevent them from getting too involved. I think it's actually going to intensify how involved these refs are. If anything, I think that, not that I want to go back to street ball, even though street ball is fun to watch, but to a certain point, because we've seen, especially when you're the home team, the calls vary from arena to arena. That should be addressed. If I'm going to get a call, if I'm the Bucks, for example, if I'm going to get the call at home, I should get the call on the road, and vice versa. And we just don't get that. So I think this is much to do about nothing. And you're literally you're addressing one part of the game. You're not addressing the problem that is the refs. This is a lot more than this. And so I think they missed it with this one. And they've tried this before with trying to revamp the way refs officiate, and it hasn't done anything. You have to address the problem that you have right now before you just throw out new rules. This is silly to me.
Right, that's exactly what I was saying. We already are dealing with refs who make terrible calls and who are ejecting players when they don't deserve to be ejected. And now on top of that, instead of remedying that issue, we're just looking at these refs and being like, by the way, here's 5 or 6 more things to watch out for. In a game that moves very quickly, we're expecting these refs to look and be like, ooh, that was an awkward angle of his leg or whatever, so I just feel like it's adding more room for frustration. So I do think that this is silly. I like I've said before, we have both said this, Jackie, the refs need to undergo some sort of serious, intensive course in order to fix what's been going on, because I have heard more negativity towards the refs from players and fans in the last 2 years than I've ever heard before. It just seems like the problem is getting worse and worse and worse. Now, if they do decide to, move forward and make this rule, official, and they're holding refs to it, which players do you think are going to suffer the most?
Chris Paul, Joel Embiid. I think they'll suffer the most. I know people think, I guess they'll suffer the most, but it's still not going to help. My problem is the paint, the fouls that do and do not get called inside the paint. You guys know I like the physicality of the game, so I tend to pay more attention to what happens in the paint. These flops and stuff are happening at the perimeter. You should definitely get those right, because that's not even congested like that. I could see missing a call that happens in the paint because it's congested. You don't know who's who. You don't know whose feet were set, who was not. You got to sometimes go back and look at that. I get that. But these perimeter fouls, yeah, Chris Paul, Joel Embiid, James Harden. Who else? Those ones I could think of off top.
So we actually have some tweets. Leo, can you throw up the first tweet in there if you have it? So this guy thinks that Trey, Luka, Steph, James, Harden, and Dame are going to be the ones that are going to suffer the most. So you got some of those, but this person wrote, this is the best rule change they've made in a while. Guys like Trey, Luka, Steph, Harden, Dame, etc. are phenomenal players, but this is easily the most annoying part about their games. I don't think Steph and Dame deserve.
Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say. I'll ride with this list, but Steph and Dame got to come off. They just got to come off. People be straight assaulting Steph, and he doesn't flop. No, you got to take Steph and Dame off that list.
I know. I looked at this and I was like, "Are we watching the same league here?"
Right.
Because Steph and Dame, we never talk about them flopping. I never see them flopping. Trey,
And
yeah,
my Glock in the chat, absolutely wrong too. He says Devin Booker. Devin Booker gets hit in the face more than any other player that I have seen in the NBA. That man needs a whole face shield. The fouls that he's getting are warranted.
yeah, he did have a full face shield, you guys. He was looking like what's that opera, Phantom of the Opera. That's what he was looking like with his mask on. Let's see. JD says Chris Paul, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Luka Doncic, Trae Young. Yeah, it seems like those are the most common names. I would venture to say Joel Embiid and James Harden and Chris Paul the most out of everybody. And I think it is just going to be very, very hard for them to really enforce this. Leo, we had one other tweet. Can you put that one up there? Maybe we didn't. I was having trouble dropping that one in. I don't know what's going on, but the internet at my parents' house is very weird. So it doesn't look like we have that second tweet. That's okay. Let's move on and actually talk about Dame, the guy who does not flop, because there's actually been an update to his situation with the Trailblazers. Now, of course, we've talked about this a bunch. There have been a lot of reports this offseason that suggest Dame is ready to request a trade from the Portland Trailblazers. This is monumental news because he wanted to be a franchise a career Trailblazer, and I think now he's just reached a point of frustration where he's kind of ready to throw in the towel. If Dame does decide to leave the Trailblazers, he definitely is going to be going to a team that's ready to win the championship. He wants to get that ring, and he has to go to a place that's going to give him the best odds of doing that. He tried it with the Trailblazers, where time and time again they don't make it far enough in the postseason. So now it's got to be a team that's just ready to go. And he's actually reportedly willing to miss out on paychecks if the Trailblazers don't trade him, if he asks to leave. So it's clear that he wants to win at this point. He's just ready for that opportunity, and he is a loyal player. We've seen him stick with the Trailblazers for so long, but after years of just not getting very far in the playoffs, he's got to be just disappointed, frustrated, and I guess ready and willing to lose some cash if he has to. Now, that scenario of him foregoing paychecks would probably only happen if he does end up requesting a trade and the Trailblazers want to take a little bit of extra time in order to see if they can get somebody on the squad who's going to be able to turn the Trailblazers into that championship winning team. They would really need to make a win now move in order to get that to happen, and they could potentially make that happen before the start of the season, but it's going to take a lot. I mean, that team, we've talked about this before. If Dame leaves, it could maybe they would it really would need to be a rebuild. Like, they would kind of just have to start from the ground up, and I don't know that they're going to be able to get Dame the help that he needs on the roster with these trades this offseason. So Jackie, what is your reaction to this news? Do you feel like it seems a lot more likely that Dame is just kind of ready to go?
I mean, yes. I still am stuck on the same question I've been stuck on. Dame, while you're ready to go, and I think you should be ready to go, you should have been ready to go before you picked up that pen and signed that extension. So that's the thing that gets me. And I understand it a little bit. I understand who he is, and he really wanted to be the guy that, wins the championship for that franchise. However, before you pick up that pen and sign that, then you need to do something like say, hey, I'm gonna sign this max contract. However, what's our plan? Because the squad that we have is not gonna get it. I want this money, and I want to win a championship. Those things are on the same plane. He was very open in saying that he wanted, Chauncey Billups or Jason Kidd. He got Chauncey. Then right after that, he says, what, Chauncey's not going to help us. What we have right now is not a championship team, so it's not fair to say that a coach can come in here and make us a championship team. All those things existed before you signed that contract. Had you not signed that contract, it'd be so much easier for you to go where you wanted to go, because now you have this super max contract. A lot of teams are going to have to do a lot just to make this work, just to be able to financially afford you. If you're willing to sit out and miss paychecks, where was that mindset when you grabbed that pen, though? I think he's right in this thought process, don't get me wrong, but this thought process would have benefited him so much more while that pen was in his hand before he signed the dotted line. It would have been, that was the time to have this mindset. This is the absolute right mindset, wrong time. Yes, go ahead and sit out games. Dame's not hurting for no money. We know Hulu got live sports because of Dame Dollar. So, you know, he's got Hulu, he's got all these other endorsements. I think he's averaging something like 250, 300 million a year just off endorsements alone. So the man's going to be fine. Sitting out, missing paychecks for games is not a problem for him. He can definitely do that. And the fact that he's not going to be hurting financially to do that should definitely make them say, we need to make some moves. But what moves are they going to make? If they knew what moves to make this work, I feel like they would have made it by now. They haven't done that. So that's why you need to go somewhere else. I really believe this time is up. He needs to go, and he needs to come to the Lakers. But it would have been so much easier for us to make that happen had you not signed that damn contract. But, you know, I guess can't cry over spilt milk.
Well, you know, Dame has always been very open about how he wants to stay so loyal. So I think signing that contract was, you know, just a testament to his loyalty to the team. But now, after just years of frustration, and then not only that, but the way the fans turned on him when he endorsed Chauncey Billups and Jason Kidd, I think he's just reached the end of his rope. I'm sure he regrets signing that contract. But I don't know. I'm glad to know that he is seeming a little bit more serious about getting out of Portland. This is the best thing that he could possibly do. But when it comes to missing paychecks, you know, we talked about with James Harden and with Ben Simmons just recently when they both wanted out of their teams, or Ben Simmons doesn't probably want out of the Sixers, but he's just on his way out, regardless of.
He's pouting. Like, yeah. They don't want more. He's mad about that.
He totally is. But suddenly kind of abandoning your responsibilities to your team in the way that James Harden did and in the way that Ben Simmons is doing, we both in those situations thought, wow, that's not a good look. But with Dame missing paychecks, it feels a little bit different. Why is that? Like, why are we a little bit more willing to be okay with that as opposed to what James and Ben are doing?
Because Dame's a better human being. And I know that sounds bad, but let's just be real. This man has gone above and beyond the call of duty to be loyal to that franchise. And he's been very vocal. He's been very vocal about, these are the things that I want. These are the things that I think we need. And James Harden didn't do that. James Harden, Houston gave James every single thing that he wanted. You know what I mean? And so, and then he got this revelation that, you know, yeah, I have everything that I want here, but I could get even more in Brooklyn. So that's a little bit different. When you really have Houston bet the farm, the entire farm and all the acres on James Harden, and then he acted like a child. So it's a little bit different. Portland's they've never gone out of their way to truly build this franchise. They have Dame and CJ, and I'm not sleeping on that squad, but what moves have they made? What adjustments have they made? The reason why they got Chauncey now is specifically because Dame asked for it. It's two sides of the same coin. Some people get pissed off that these players are out here kind of dictating who comes to their team, who goes, but then at the same time, you have a guy like Dame that's just now speaking up, and we're just now starting to see changes. He's really been good at understanding there are people, this is their job. It's their job to build this team. They failed to do so. So now he's being vocal. And I think whether we admit it out loud or not, that's what we can see. He's done everything right, with the exception of signing that contract. He's done everything right. So it's entirely different. So we are going to give him a pass, and we want him to succeed. James Harden is not the most likable person on the planet, and he owns that. Dame, very likable. Hulu has live sports. I say that all the time, and I barely watch Hulu anymore, but I just love the commercial with Dame in it.
You're so right. Dame is a much more likable player, even though it's funny because he's very likable, but he's also very outspoken. Like, we've seen him clapping back to people on Twitter and kind of getting into it with people on Twitter, but he does it in a way that's like so, I don't know, articulate and intelligent or whatever it is. And then meanwhile with James Harden, you know, he's rolling his eyes in an interview or whatever it is, and he definitely has more of that. I'm not saying James Harden is the villain of the NBA, but he definitely is a bit more villain-like than somebody like Dame. Dame still seems just like so good and pure. I love that about him. So I think you're absolutely.
He's a really good. James Harden had forever tainted his image with me when Chris Paul was in Houston. That should have been the time that Houston really took it all the way. And I'll never forget, Chris Paul was in the huddle and he was talking to James Harden, and James Harden rolled his eyes and looked away. At that moment in time, I was done with James Harden. I was like, how are you this is your teammate. So nope.
I know. It's that kind of stuff. You wouldn't see Dame doing that kind of stuff. So I think that that's definitely a good point. All right, you guys, well, let's wrap up Need to Know News and head on into the post up.
Yes, let's get into the post up. This one I'm going to need, especially you shoe heads in the chat. I have told you time and time again, I am not a shoe head. I don't understand spending a buttload of money on something that you're going to put on the ground. It's never made sense to me. That's just not who I am. But we know that PJ Tucker is a shoe head. He is a shoe god. He's out here flossing in a way, again, that I don't understand. Because not only is he the shoe king, he's going to level up a shoe, the Giannis shoe that Giannis doesn't even have yet, by adding $250,000 worth of diamonds. Make it make sense, y'all. Take a look at this video.
You even seen him yet?
Bro, got my shoe before me.
Bro, why are you acting like you got it before everybody else, bro? I have it.
Bro, this is the first time I've seen this, bro.
Remember you was joking the other day. Everybody laughing about diamonds in my shoes. 250,000.
250,000?
It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. You did this. Huh? Nah, you don't pay for no cars. Your car's free. Surgeon went crazy.
Why, though? Why are you putting that many diamonds on a shoe, sir? I do not understand. Giannis didn't have the shoe yet. I don't know who that was in the background lying, saying that they had it first when Giannis didn't have it. I don't believe that person in the back. But Giannis was definitely shocked by the $250,000 worth of diamonds on the shoes. And I love his little face right here. He's like, bro, his expression is like, but why though? And I am right there with you. Why would you do this? And I agree with this user. I'm looking at the ice on PJ's neck. You done spent $250,000 on these shoes, extra on these shoes. This dude's going to be broke when he retires. If he doesn't change something right now, Devin, I don't know. This is a lot to me. I don't know.
I agree. You know what? I see, sometimes I get things on my Instagram that are like, you know, people posting about somebody creasing their Air Force Ones or whatever. And I'm like, they're Air Force Ones, first of all. So it's not like they're even super special shoes. Second, do not walk in them. Like, what are you supposed to do? Just kind of like lift each foot up and not bend it at all? I don't understand. Shoe heads would absolutely hate me because I just wear my shoes normally and they get filthy and then I throw them in the wash and then I wear them again. Like, I am the worst. So I don't understand this. I would literally never put diamonds on my shoes, especially that many. Like, I don't get it.
I dated a shoehead one time, and he was mortified at my Skechers. I like Skechers. I'm probably the only person on the planet. I love Skechers. I'm not spending more than $40-$50 for tennis shoes, and I use them to walk and run. And dogs pee on the ground. I'm not doing that. That doesn't make any sense to me. But y'all do what you do. Let's go to this next one because I actually love this one. Aja Wilson is of the Las Vegas Aces. You guys know she is in Tokyo as well, playing for the women's U.S. basketball team. And like I said, Dame is just a likable guy. And let's be real. The man's good looking. And Aja decides to point out how clean he looks. And she just trolled him like, look at his haircut. Look how fly he looks. And he's not having any of it. Take a look.
Hey, look at the line. Jeez. Let me see. Let me see that. Hey, that boy nice with it. God dang. Look at that haircut. Look at that haircut. Hey, yo,
FYI, that would be me if Dame walked in and he don't even know me like that. I'd be like, oh, here come Dame Dollar. I would just be hyping him up the whole time because I love that man and he's so good looking. He's always on point. She said the video ended for a very specific reason, though. Take a look at her post. She was like, he really snatched my phone at the end because he was just over it. This is how me and my friends get down. If you walk into a room and you look really fly, you're like, oh, we see you. We're going to embarrass you, but in a very, very good way. So I love this. This is exactly how I would do it. Shouts out to Aja for shouting out Dame for looking fly. Anytime you do that, I'm going to give you a head nod. I appreciate you. But look, Jeremiah, are you here? I'm sure you're here. We're going to talk about this Steph Curry situation because once again, here we are in the off season. Steph Curry trying to get his little muscle up. I don't know why every time I talk about Steph and his muscles, I got to put a little in front of it. I guess it's just because he is little. But here you go. Look at him. I like this bulk up on him. He definitely looks shredded right here, getting the hops up to get that dunk. I love this picture. I love seeing Steph in the off season, and he's getting a little bit more bulk every single time we see him in the off season. But it's not even the bulk that's kind of irritating people. It's the dunk. People are not here for the dunk. Nobody's buying the dunk. This one says, Steph don't got them bunnies like that. Somebody gave him a boost. I love it. I don't know why. I just think this is hilarious, but it's funny to me. And this guy says, he's getting a boost. It's why the feet are cropped out. The guy on the bottom says he has a 38-inch vertical. I'm like, okay, maybe he does. I don't know. I love this one, though, that says, did you watch the All-Star game? He actually dunked in the game. He just doesn't dunk to avoid ankle injuries, but he could if he wanted to. Yeah, but he barely clears the rim when he dunks. I love all the shade. I did not like the John Morant shade at the end of that one. That's why I did not read that. But I love the Curry can't dunk shade, but I also love the muscles. Shouts out to the muscles. Y'all know I love the muscles. Good job, Steph. He's still little Steph to me, but I love the muscles. Let's go. Where is Jeremiah? Is he mad yet? Is he not here? He must not be here.
I don't think he's here.
He's not spamming me. He's not saying, oh, you just hate Steph. Like, no Tasmanian devil. Where is he at? I hope he's in anger management. That's where he needs to be.
I think that is where he probably is.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll try again next time because, you know, he's easily agitated. So we'll get him next time. But let's go on to this next one. This one is crazy to me because of all the things, I know some of y'all said some things in the chat about this earlier, said that this would never happen to Jordan. That's because nobody's making a Jordan mural. That is not going to happen. But when you really consider all that LeBron James has done for the city of Akron, so much so that people here in LA, I've literally heard fans say that they don't like that he'll go back to Akron to appear at something for either the kids or his school, or he'll launch something in Akron and he'll go there. But he's not really caught up in this Hollywood lifestyle where he wants to be seen. And that really annoys people in LA. I don't get it. But this man loves Akron and he wants to make sure kids there specifically have it a little bit easier than he does. So it's weird to me to see this. If this happened in LA, I wouldn't even trip. I'd be like, yep, this is Los Angelinos. This is what they do. But the fact that this happened in Akron is weird to me. So they painted a clown nose on him and then they put La Flop on there. That's y'all weird to me on that one. Just straight up, I don't understand it. Again, if it was in LA, I'd be like, oh, yep, Los Angelinos doing their thing. But in Akron, with all that this man has done for that city, something is wrong with y'all. And I agree with this next user because I just couldn't. They still disrespecting LeBron in Ohio, though? In Ohio, though. Of all the places, this next user, I'm not going to say it. He said it. I'm just going to put it out in the atmosphere. He says, nah, people in Akron / Cleveland just suck. That's the only thing I can think of because that man has done too much for that city for y'all to be. Some of y'all's futures are going to be changed because of LeBron. Something wrong with y'all. Y'all need to go to Jeremiah's anger management class because you need help. This don't make no sense to me. Let's go on to this next. Go ahead, Devin.
One thing that I want to add is when they wrote La Flop on the mural, they could have at least got the L-E right. They did L-A. Like, if you're really going to troll LeBron, get the L-E right. So dumb. And this makes no sense because, yeah, nobody can deny that LeBron has done so much for Akron. You would think that everybody would just embrace him there and love him for what he's done for that community. Pretty embarrassing for Akron, for people over there. That's humiliating for them.
Yeah, very much so, because it just shows, again, a lot of those people out there, their lives are going to be different because their children's lives are going to be different. This man has literally paved a way to success for a lot of people. And y'all, and clearly whoever painted this doesn't go to his school because they couldn't get the spelling right. So you should try to get this person into the school because they obviously need some help. So you're welcome. There you go with that one. All right, let's move on to this next one, because this next one I want to really kind of, this one bothered me for a lot of reasons. Obviously, we talked about the Simone Biles situation. I said yesterday that I thought she should have lied because the trolls are going to come out. It's going to be a thing. I saw somebody in the chat said, what if she's pregnant? That would be crazy if I heard something like that. That would really mess you up mentally, right? You out there trying to flip around and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, there's a whole human growing inside of me. She could have still competed for sure, but that would definitely be a mental trip. So I get all of that. But Charlie Kirk, I'm sure most of you have not heard about him. I have never heard of this man before. I think I've seen him on one thing where he was also trolling. It was back when people were kneeling in the NFL. I think that was the only other time that I heard about this man, and because I know he's team All Lives Matter. So he took, first of all, just listen to what he says about Simone. He puts way too much responsibility. It's a team sport. The fact that he's acknowledging that they couldn't win without her is weird to me with the shade. So take a listen to what he said.
So Simone Biles, who's obviously a very talented gymnast, decided not to compete in the gold medal competition. Now, she probably could have just competed and just kind of checked the boxes and they would have got a gold medal. Simone Biles says, this Olympic Games, I wanted to be for myself when I came in, and I felt like I was still doing it for other people, as she cried after the team event on Tuesday. So it like hurts my heart because doing what I love has been kind of taken away from me to please other people. Yeah, that's the point, Simone Biles. You're representing your nation, you selfish sociopath. You kidding me? Today it's like, you know what? I'm not going to do something stupid and get hurt. It's just not worth it. Especially when you have like 3 amazing athletes that can step up to the plate and do it. So you know who has the gold medal? Russia.
So that's his real problem, is that Russia won. He's still in the Cold War and thinking that, you know, we're in this sort of, we could get bombed at any time, or he feels whatever he feels. His problem really is with Russia. But I don't think he really understands what a sociopath is. A sociopath is somebody who has no feelings and probably will chop you up in the middle of the night and go back to sleep and eat breakfast in the morning just fine. They have no feelings at all. That's not what's happening here. And I get what he's saying to a certain extent about you're playing for other people, you're playing for your nation. I told you guys this about the NBA team playing in the Olympics. It's not the same for us here in the United States. This country is so divided. If you're not playing for your nation. So her saying that, yes, I wanted this to be for me because I'm always competing for my team. I'm always competing for somebody else. I wanted to compete for me. I didn't get to do that and I'm disappointed. That's exactly what a lot of these athletes, except for this one that I'm going to show you later in the post-up, is doing right now. And it's because our country has not atoned for the sins of the past, and they're making excuses to perpetuate these sins going forward. We're too divided for anybody to really give a damn about winning a gold for the nation. It's an individual accolade. Once you grab a hold of that, maybe this Olympics will help do that. Grab a hold of that so you understand that there's a problem with this country that's translating into the Olympics. Know that, and then maybe we can have a deeper conversation. So I'm very happy that Jason took this moment and said something. He says, is it that hard to be supportive and empathetic to what others are going through? This is someone's daughter and her health you're referring to. Wonder if he has kids and how he would feel as a parent, someone talking about his kids this way. Because I'd be damned. Simone is a hero. I agree 100% with what Jason said. But again, I'm going to fall back to, and I know what Devin's going to say. No, these people are always going to troll. Lie. I would have said I had tightness in my back. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't really owe us an explanation. She is her own person. She can do what's best for her. But while people should have been team Jason Tatum, they were not. They were team Sir Troll a lot. And so let me show you some of the points here. This woman says someone's daughter. She is a grown-ass woman and her own person. I love the clap back. So at what age do your parents just magically disappear? You still gonna be someone's daughter regardless. This comment is just stupid. But I'm telling you, this is the kind of problems that I see with a lot of the mindset. People feel that Simone owed the team something. They don't feel like she owed herself anything, which is weird to me. And then, of course, I have one more comment, and I didn't even think about this, so I really want to shout out this user, Jesse, because I think well, not this one, the next one, but she says, this one says, a hero for quitting. She was feeling 100% and messed up on her event and quit, and we celebrated it, saying she's strong and brave. I'm sorry, but mental health is being used as a crutch here. She was mentally fine to cheer her teammates on that she let down. How many times I say, if you can't be in the game with your teammate, you need to be at least on the floor with them to encourage them, because you can still be an asset. So again, this person, I don't like this sentiment. I don't like this sentiment that says if you can't play, you've got to get out. So there was another asset that I didn't put in there, but it said basically what he said was fantastic. He said, you guys are missing how this is scoring, because if she had gone in there and checked all the boxes just to basically just to compete, but her score was too low, they might not even gotten the silver. They could have gotten the bronze. She could have been a detriment to her team if she had played and wasn't mentally right and then kept messing up. She could have scored them out of the silver. So maybe she sat out to make sure they had the chance for the silver. Either way, what she did for her that she thought was best for her is her business. This woman doesn't owe us any explanations, and y'all should not judge this woman like this. Devin, what do you think about all of this?
So when you suggest lying about what was really going on, she would have obviously avoided all of this backlash, and that probably would have been good for her. However, I think it's important that we see which people are looking at this situation and criticizing her and acting like she's let her team down. And I think it's great that we can see people like Jason Tatum coming to her defense and publicly saying that whoever is criticizing Simone for doing this is in the wrong. What we need to remember is that Simone, first of all, she's considered the GOAT. That alone comes with so much pressure. But on top of that, she's a survivor of sexual assault. She's a Black young woman. She's had to overcome so many challenges and obstacles to get where she is. And if her mental health is suffering right now, I am honestly stunned that people would ever criticize her for this decision. To me, it's absolutely wild that we can look at somebody who went through what she went through, even with that sexual assault alone, and still say like, oh, you have no right to feel that way. It's outrageous to me. So I think it's starting a valuable conversation, and it's showing us who the idiots of society are. I think we already kind of knew, but it just, we can double down on the people who are actually sitting there and saying that she's pathetic for doing this, and we can recognize like, okay, so you're actually a complete moron. Thank you for letting us all know. Right. But yeah, she would have avoided all of this had she lied. But I think it's good that I personally still feel like it's good that we know what's going on. And I think that she is probably empowering people who feel the same way. And I don't know. It's such a tough situation, but I know my heart is with her, and I hope that she feels better soon.
Mine is too, and I'm glad for sure, because I think the one aspect that people are missing is if she really was in this bad mental space and went out there, she could have legit hurt herself. And then how does that help the team? Now, like I said, they're in a worse situation. They're probably going to get a bronze, and now her future is in jeopardy. She did the absolute right thing, period. People are always going to have an opinion about it. I do believe in my heart of hearts their opinion is a little stronger because she's Black. And just because of the comments that I've seen, I believe their comments are a little stronger because of that. So shouts out to Jason, because I think as many athletes that can send love and support her way, she definitely needs that. Mike Glock, I agree with you 100%. Athletes are human too. I think that people, just because you can't do what they do, you automatically put them on a pedestal that means that they're superhuman. They are not. They can do superhuman feats, but they are still humans with feelings. You guys are doing a lot. So let's move on to this next one. And Kirk needs to find something else to do with his time. I don't like that guy at all. So let me talk about this again, because what did I say yesterday? What did I say a second ago? One of the things that I think that the U.S. is lacking is that desire to win it for the country. These are all individual goals, except for this one little caveat that I think is beautiful. I don't even know if you've watched any of the Olympics. Please raise your hand in the chat. Let me know what you're watching and let me know who you're rooting for, because I personally don't know people. Everyone that I've been talking to, it's been like, oh yeah, we've caught the tail end. I've caught the tail end of a lot of track and field meets. I caught the tail end of one swim meet, but I haven't seen a lot of it. A lot of it comes on too early too, and I'm at work, so there's that part. But this one young lady this is what it's supposed to look like when you're trying to win it for your country. This is what it's supposed to look like. So this young lady, she's 17-year-old Lydia Jacoby, and she's from a tiny town in Alaska called Seward. They have 2,773 people in that town. I looked it up. I know they said it was 3,000, but it is not. It's 2,773. They have a tiny pool. It is not even Olympic size, and they only have one pool in this entire town. But this 17-year-old young lady, she made history last night, and she upsetted the defending champion, Lily King, to earn the Olympic gold medal for the U.S. in the women's 100-meter breaststroke. Her whole entire town was watching her and supporting her. Y'all look at this. It is so beautiful. This is the kind of... I love that. I love seeing that town support her like that. Bringing back the gold to that town. Look at the look on her face when she realizes she won the gold medal. This is beautiful. I love this. I love to see this young lady. Again, she's only 17. She's bringing back the gold. I know she's bringing back the gold for her United States, but I'm telling you, this is specifically for that town of 2,773 people. This is so immensely amazing. Devin, I see you in the chat saying that this is so special. I can't even imagine what these people feel like. They got one pool, and it's not even Olympic size. It's probably about the size of the pool at my apartment building, which I can tell you right now is not Olympic size. So...
I love this. I love seeing the support from her neighbors, her classmates. These are probably people that she has known her whole life, and they all come together to support and to cheer her on. I think the best word to describe it is special. It really is such a special moment.
Yeah, and I'm sure they were with her every step of the way, sending her love and thoughts, and now they feel represented. And that's such a dope feeling. This is special, exactly what you said, and I love it. So congratulations, young lady. So proud of you. You did your thing. Now go celebrate with those 2,773 people, because I know y'all have like one place that y'all meet at a lot, clearly. And we saw that in that video. That's amazing. All right, so let's get on to this next one, because let me tell you, don't judge me. Do not judge me. This is one of my favorite moments in basketball history. I have a birthday month. This happened 10 days after my birthday. I know it's weird that I remember this because I absolutely love this. This is before we had Meta World Peace. We had Ron Artest back then, and Ron Artest was with that. He was not opposed to the hands at all. For those of you who don't remember it, let me set the stage for you a little bit. Ben Wallace, he attempted a layup. He was with the Pistons at the time. Ron Artest fouled him. They got in a tussle on the court, and then Ron Artest is sitting on the little scoreboard thing when somebody threw, I think, a bottle at him or something. Anyway, he took off in the fans and started beating up the fans. It's one of my favorite moments in NBA history. And now Netflix is making a documentary about it, and I am so excited. I cannot wait to see this. Y'all take a look.
Some people have control over their emotions. I don't. I was trying to find any way to escape. I want the story out there. Like, what happened? Go frame by frame.
A fight broke out between the Pacer team and the fans in the stands.
People were trying to hurt me and others.
It was a full-scale riot.
I'm never talking about this shit again.
Well done, Netflix. Well done. I am so excited to see this Malice in the Palace documentary. I went to Twitter expecting everybody to have the same level of excitement. I think it's just me, which is fine, because this person says it was so dope to be watching that game live. Artest is a real one. Steven Jackson, too. I can't wait to see what Steven Jackson has to say. It was me and this guy, though. That was it. Everybody else was like, this shouldn't be a documentary that should be made because this is a really horrible moment. A lot of people commented on this tweet and basically agreed with him. So they're really trying to capitalize off this. This is something most people want to put behind us. It was an embarrassment for the league on down. Artest getting suspended for the entire season ruined Reggie Miller's last shot in winning a championship. Nothing good came out of this. I agree with that last part. Reggie probably could have had at least a shot, you know, if our boy was in there. I love our producer just was like, why are people so mad? There's murder documentaries every day. My producer and I, we know this because we watch all of them. So I am so excited to see this moment in time. I cannot wait. Devin, what do you think about this?
I'm going to watch it. I'm not as excited as you are, but I am going to watch it. But clearly what I'm noticing here, Jackie, a trend between the two of us is that you get very excited for various documentaries that most people are not excited about. Meanwhile, I'm on the other side. Rudy Gobert, still haven't watched that one. Don't plan to. This one, it actually, I like how dramatic the trailer is, so I think I will be watching this one. But yeah, I'm not quite as excited as you.
I still use that phrase, like when people get mad, start testing me, I'm like, you about to get this malice in the palace. And I've learned that phrase is aging out now, because now I'll say it to people that are like 15, 16. They're like, what the hell does that mean? Like, they don't even know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh man, I need a new phrase. So, you know, you about to catch these hands. So I still use the phrase. Fun fact. First of all, I love Ron Artest. I've never called him Meta World Peace, because I'm like, I can't have peace in your name. And I remember Malice in the Palace. And that's why I really started liking you, not doing it. But I'm really excited about this. But like Devin said, we don't like the same documentaries. And I know, I'm going to plug it one more time, that Rudy Gobert documentary was good. It was only like 15 minutes long. You can watch it. It's not that long. It's really, really good.
15 minutes?
It might have been like 20 minutes, because, you know, so when I finally watched it, I watched it without the commercials. They had taken the commercials out. So it's probably 30 minutes if and when it came on anywhere, but you know, I couldn't find it. So they took all the commercials out, which made it like, I think it was like 18 and a half minutes. It was not that long.
To me, that is so funny that his life documentary is 18 minutes long.
It wasn't his life documentary. They gave you a little bit of like where he grew up and how it was for him to get into the NBA. And then they skipped everything else and went right to COVID and how the world responded to him during COVID. So it wasn't a life story. It was all about him and COVID.
Okay.
So there you go. Yeah. So, I mean, you can't spend an hour on COVID. Like, no, nobody's gonna watch that. So watch that. I'm gonna watch this Malice in the Palace. I can't wait. But let's move on to this next one. This next one, I'm going to tread as lightly as possible on this one, because I know this is a very touchy subject for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, and I understand both sides of it. It's rare that I understand both sides, but in this specific instance, I understand both sides, because this vaccine battle is heating up, especially now that we're seeing more and more companies, government agencies are saying it's mandatory that you get vaccinated. I have a friend that's her company is saying that she has to be vaccinated by, I think, September, something like that. So I get it. The second you kind of take people's free will out, or you imply that you're taking their free will away, you know, thought processes heat up, regardless of where people stand on it. I get it. You know, some people are mad that Pfizer's now talking about, hey, we know you only needed 2. We want you to get 3 now. People are mad about that. I think you just got to do your own research. I personally, when I'm doing my research, one of the things that I always like to do is listen to the people that this virus has affected the most. A lot of us have kind of gone through this situation, gone through this pandemic truly unscathed, and shout out to us. But people like Carl Anthony Towns, who was like one of the first people to get it, that makes sense to me considering what he went through with his family. I want to respect people who have gone through stuff like that. I want to respect people who have a different perspective than someone. I mean, my brother got it, but yes, he's a strong young man, so he recovered from it, and it's not the same as losing somebody to it. People like Washington head coach Ron Rivera. You guys, I don't know if you know, we should all know the long battle this man has had with cancer, and because of that, his immune system has been compromised because he's been battling cancer for so long. I want to hear what he has to say, because he has a different perspective. I'm a very healthy person. I don't have I might fall in the way of, oh, I'll be fine. You know, I've been fine this whole time, you know, blah, blah. I get that mindset, but there is another side to it. And that's this whole message I think we've talked about a lot. You have to really be able to empathize with the other side, regardless of how you feel about it. So I want to post this tweet. From Gridiron, and by way of Bleacher Report, of course. It says, Ron Rivera says he is beyond frustrated that so many Washington players are unvaccinated. The coach is immune deficient following cancer treatment last year. So I 100% get that. And I'm not surprised that he's frustrated by that. I understand that he's probably thinking, guys, it's not just me. I'm not the only person in your life who might have a compromised immune system. I might be the only person that's talking about it. But surely there's people that you come in contact with either in passing or maybe even day to day that just haven't been open with what they're going through that might have a compromised immune system. So I understand that. I still think the way that the NFL is doing it is 100% the right way, because I'm just not a fan of imposing on someone's free will. But free will, let's just be clear, doesn't mean that you just get to do whatever you want to do with no consequences. It means you have the right to make a choice, or you can choose this, or if you don't choose that, we're going to do what the NFL is doing, and you're going to still be able to work, but it's going to be a living hell for you to do that. I agree with that. I agree with, like I said, the NFL is doing 100% right. But the lack of empathy in the world right now is really starting to bother me, and I got to start with TJ Ward on this one, because TJ Ward is a guy that I really, really liked, especially when he played in Denver. I know several reporters for the Denver Broncos that say that he was a really likable guy, just very accessible and fun. Everything I've heard about TJ Ward makes me feel like he's a great guy. So I'm going to kind of keep that in mind as I'm reading this, because he just went straight into the deep waters of being a bonehead. This first one says, just park the riverboat. His health is beyond that of COVID. Maybe it's time to let it go. So he's implying that he should retire at that one. Then he comes back and he says, don't blame the players for your lifelong health decisions. Okay, let's let that marinate for a second. His lifelong health decisions. There's a couple of things. Number one, you're saying that he lived a lifestyle that caused him to get cancer. The kind of cancer that Ron has is not because I've been a back-to-back smoker or an alcoholic my whole life. And even if that was the case, I still don't know if this is the comment you make. But he got skin cancer, which comes from UV rays. Like what is he talking about? Decisions. The lack of empathy, number one, and the lack of intelligence in that comment is mind-boggling to me. So of course people dragged him, as they should, and then he has an opportunity to do what everybody else does and come back and issue some apology. Do you think he did that? No, he did not. He comes back and is like, you know what? I know I'm in the deep end of stupid. Let me dig a hole and go deeper. He says, y'all be on here getting mad for anything. Can't think for yourselves, and you damn sure don't do no damn research. Y'all got issues with what I said. Come ask me about it. I know cancer. So know me before you talk about that. But furthermore, how do you expect somebody to have empathy for your situation when you refuse to have it for where other people stand? Continue though. That's psychotic, unempathetic by exact definition, and selfish, but I'm wrong. LOL. Get out. Bro, what? Like, what? I don't even know how you can't expect somebody who literally has a compromised immune system to the point where if they get it, it damn well could be a death sentence if they get it. And then you saying, oh yeah, I know you could die from it, but you got to understand, I don't want to get the vaccine. It's not the same thing. You saying I don't want you to get the vaccine is not going to impact your life. You not getting it and being, even if you carry it and you don't have the symptoms of it, and then passing it along to somebody impacts this man's life. This man has gone through hell to just try to be on this earth with us. And you don't give a damn about that? That is weird to me. So I am very, very glad that people drug this man the way that they did. I have this next tweet where I'm glad that people drug him, but as many people that drug him, there were people like this. And I do believe this person is coming from a level of sincerity, which is weird to me, because he says, I'm confused. Let me go back. I think do I have another one before this? Maybe not. But there's a guy before this that basically says what I just said, that he doesn't have cancer by his own fault. His cancer was because he was out in the world and he got skin cancer. So we can post that too before up. And this person is asking a legit question. He's saying, okay, but you're saying that his cancer is not his fault. which is fine, but I'm confused because isn't that exactly what TJ is saying? He's saying that Ron should retire if it's such a high risk of this. Would be much easier than having all of his players taking the vaccine, which they clearly don't want to do. That is not a fair statement. That's just not the same thing. Of course, they don't have to do it. He didn't say, I want them to take it. He said, I'm frustrated that they won't because I'm walking around here fighting for my life on a daily basis and they seem like they don't give a damn. That's what he said. It's not the word to use, but that's what he's thinking, I can assure you. This person has a very interesting perspective. This is the last tweet in this situation. He says, vaccines don't limit transmission. Number one. Number two, to think everyone around you needs to get the vaccine to be safe is anti-science rhetoric. Turns out TJ Ward has more faith in the vax than you and Ron. Number three, maybe being unempathetic and media using Ron's cancer for a narrative can both be true. That is an interesting thought process because he's basically saying Ron and TJ Ward are both right. That can be true. I'm definitely one of those people that say two things can exist on the same plane at the same time. Ron can be concerned about his health and what getting COVID would mean to him, while TJ Ward can say, hey, we don't have to get the vaccine because of that. That sentiment, though, is weird to me. Even if I am an anti-vaxxer, if I'm on a team if Devin and I were working in the studio right now and I knew she had a compromised immune system and I'd been like, girl, that's fine, but I'm not about to get the vaccine anyway. I don't care. You do you, boo. What the hell? What does that mean for me? Who does that say that I am? Of course, just like wearing a seatbelt in a car is not going to save you from a really bad car accident. No one's saying that. But wouldn't you want to increase your chances that your coach can live on, especially when you know the hell that he's gone through? I'm still 100% pro-choice. Everybody has a choice to make the choice that's best for you. But I understand having somebody that's leading your organization and you not giving a damn about how your decisions might impact them. That's got to sting a little bit. It just has to hurt a little bit. Devin, what do you think about this?
I'm still hung up on the fact that TJ Ward is blaming Ron's cancer diagnosis on his lifestyle. Like, it's not like he was smoking 2 packs a day for 30 years. It's not like he chose to get cancer. I still can't get over that.
Walking outside and got skin cancer. That's right? It.
I know. Probably wearing sunscreen too, but you can't always protect yourself 100%. Listen, as like a very pale person, I'm wearing sunscreen all the time. But I think that what we need to do is have sensitivity to everybody. And I think that, Ron deserves our compassion after suffering through a cancer diagnosis and that treatment to take the stance of maybe you should quit. No, he probably has a medical debt up the wazoo for what he went through. Like, why would that be the practical choice here? Getting the vaccine is obviously a personal choice, but if these players choose not to, the NFL has made their stance very clear. So, come on, doesn't make any sense. Just wear a mask or whatever it is that you got to do. I don't know. It's wild to me.
And I'm still tripping on the fact that we decided to make the guy that openly, and I really applauded him for that because I feel like cancer is such that taboo that nobody really wants to talk about it. You kind of just want to fight that battle in private. Ron opened up, fought that battle publicly, probably encouraged a lot of people to fight that battle publicly. We know all that he went through. I was one of the people that said, no, bro, quit. Not because I wanted him to quit, but because I wanted him to take care of his health. He didn't. Fast forward, now he leaves Carolina, comes to Washington with all that he's done to kind of put cancer in the forefront of people's minds. And then you can't even say, damn, coach, I want to support you. I want to make sure you feel safe. I say that to people about things that have nothing to do with the vaccine. Okay, I wanted to have one martini. I'm fine to drive home with one martini. I have a friend that is no, if you have one sip of anything, you can't drive. Fine, I'm going to be the designated driver. I'm not going to have any drinks because I want you to feel safe. That's what a martini. I just don't understand how we can't understand this person literally saw their life flash before his eyes and he feels some type of way about something that could once again put him back in that situation. This is so weird to me. I don't even know. I have friends who know TJ Ward. Trust me when I tell you, when this show ends, I'm going to text and be like, you need to get your boy on the phone. I need further explanation.
Please do, and let us know what happens, because compassion is everything. And I think that we could all, everybody in the world, and especially in the U.S., can use a little bit more compassion for other people, for themselves. So I would love to know what TJ has to say, because so much of what just went down is like, excuse me? Like, do we live in the same reality? I'm very confused by this. But you guys, on that note, we can wrap up our show for the day. Jackie and Kevin are going to be back tomorrow, Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment below, tune in. I'm going to be out as a reminder, but Kevin is here. He's going to fill my role, and he's going to do a great job, you guys. So we'll see you. I'll see you guys on Friday. Oh,
in case I forget tomorrow, because there's a strong chance of that, because you know I'm not used to doing the intro when Devin's not here. So Friday is Fan or Foe Friday. So just make sure you get all your comments and stuff in. I see you guys have put a lot in there, but just ask us questions, anything you want to know. Make sure you get those in for Fan or Foe Friday, in case I forget to remind y'all tomorrow.
Okay, yes. Good job, Jackie. Fan or Foe, that's happening on Friday. We are bringing it back after like a month-long hiatus. All right, you guys will have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.